Well, hello, Reject Nation.
Hi.
I'm Greg Alba.
I'm Kat Alvarado.
we're here.
I know.
What?
Why are we surprised?
This is weird.
We sat here
What?
ourselves.
We hit record ourselves.
Why are we,
Strange.
Why are we here? I don't know what's happening. Yeah, we do. We know exactly what's
It's just
happening.
a misconception.
Hi.
Oh, transition.
Oh.
10 misconceptions about the female body from all-time 10s. I have a selection of videos to choose from with the time I have Kat available here. Went through all the videos. This one she saw and went, ooh, let's do that one. And that's the story. What? Let's see if this is actually, I'll know.
Right? I wonder if I'll know.
10. The misconception. Only men have Adam's apples.
Really?
The truth. Women have them too, they just don't show quite as much.
Does mine
Also
show?
known as the laryngeal prominence, the Adam's apple is the lump that forms at the front of the neck. It's basically the corner of the larynx, aka the voice box, poking out a bit. The purpose of the voice box is to protect the vocal cords, meaning it'd be kind of weird if evolution only gifted that luxury to men.
That
So
being
why
said,
are Adam's apples
you
so
guys
much more
got
prominent in men
penises.
than women? Well, simply enough, it's because men have larger voice boxes. Which is
yes.
also why blokes speak in such deeper tones. This
True.
difference between the sexes kicks in during puberty when a boy's drops and when a girl's doesn't. The big question now is, do we have to start calling it Adam and Eve's apple? Probably not. Number 9. The misconception, women don't get erections.
Fascinating.
Truth, they do.
Yeah, we
Well,
do.
kind of.
do.
For guys, erections are an inevitable and sometimes embarrassing fact of life.
Never
but they're
embarrassing.
generally something women don't have to be worried about. Don't be fooled though. Just because women aren't waking up with an awkward bulge in their pajama bottoms, it doesn't mean that they don't get erections too. The clitoris, the organ of female sexual pleasure, is actually surprisingly similar to a penis. It has a glans and even a foreskin known as the clitoral hood.
It
It's
really
also
is a
host
small
erectile
penis.
tissue, which become engorged with blood when a woman is aroused.
This is a
This
thing.
piece of tissue can actually extend up to 5 centimeters.
The
Fun
magnifying
erections
glass.
bonus fact, you also have erectile tissue in your nose, so when you're excited, your nose actually swells a couple of millimeters. This also occurs when you get a rush of adrenaline, meaning that the joke about a liar's nose growing is not entirely false.
Whoa!
Misconception, it's more hygienic if you remove pubic hair.
I knew that.
Truth, you're actually
that's
better
not
off
true.
leaving things au naturel.
Wow.
The desire
Yes.
for women to tend to their lady gardens is nothing new. Ancient Egyptian women, for example, used to remove hair using pumice stones or flint. Ouch! A study by
I think that's smart.
Dermatology queried 3,316 women on their preferences for bikini area grooming. 59% of these women said that they removed their pubic hair for the sake of cleanliness and hygiene. But in actual fact, it's more hygienic if you don't brave the shade.
It just looks
Pubic hair
better.
can provide a home for useful bacteria that A, keeps everything nice and healthy down there, and B, reduces any unpleasant smells.
Reduces?
What's more,
Did
the
you
hair
say
acts as
reduces?
a natural barrier
Yeah.
for the vagina, keeping anything bad on the outside rather than the inside, where it would be a
bugs.
lot more of a problem. That said, shaving does have some advantages, mainly as a defense against pubic lice, otherwise known as crabs. So I guess it kind of depends on
You
what kind of
definitely
smell
get
women
crabs.
like. Number 7. The misconception, women have a ticking biological clock.
That's true.
No.
You have to have a baby by
Don't-
25.
That's not really
There's
a
no
thing.
clock
As soon as
inside of
women
me
near their early
ticking.
30s, the pressure
It's
to
my
pump out a
heart.
kid gets greater and greater. Society tells them to be wary of their biological clock.
Yeah.
A ticking time bomb that'll go
25.
off and suddenly they'll be too old to have
No.
children.
Once you
This
reach
whole idea
26.
is just a bit outdated. It suggests there's a definitive age after which a woman's motherhood time is up. A study published
You
in the
can always
Obstetrics
be
and
mother to your
Gynecology Journal
cats.
found that when
True.
having
Never forget it.
unprotected sex at least twice a week, 82% of 35 to 39-year-old women conceived within a year. By
Wow.
comparison, 86% of 27 to 35-year-olds conceived. That
Wow.
difference is tiny, showing that age isn't as much of a factor as it was once assumed. What's more, medical advances are helping women to conceive at much later points in their life. The world's
Fascinating.
oldest
riskier,
verified mother was
I've heard.
Maria del Carmen Busada de Lara
How old
from
is she?
Spain, who in 2006 gave birth to twin boys when she was 66 years old.
Wow.
They were conceived using IVF and were born by cesarean section.
Good for her.
Number 6. The misconception, women have smaller bladders.
Kidding? Women pee all the
Size
time.
doesn't matter.
We
In general,
drink a
women
lot.
need to pee more often than men. We're not really disputing that. In 2005, the Journal of Urology asked a group of men and women to keep urinary diaries of their fluid intake and how regularly they needed to urinate.
Who would agree to...
Results showed that while the men drank more water, the women needed to pee more often. Many people assume that this is because women have a smaller bladder, or that their muscles are weaker and less able to hold it in.
That's
but
sexist.
That's a load of rubbish. A woman's bladder is the same size and strength as a man's. It's just located in a more awkward place.
Where?
Obviously, in a female body, there needs to be room for bonus organs like the uterus.
Bonus.
The bladder has less room to expand than a man's. So, lads, next time you're on a road trip with a girl, maybe schedule a few
You don't
extra
have
bathroom
bonus
stops.
organs.
No, I'm sorry.
Number 5, the misconception. Women pee with their
I'm peeing with my vagina right now.
There's a whole other hole. This misconception is quite a popular one,
hole.
as it seems like there's a lot of confusion about the specific anatomy of the female body. It was even the topic of a whole storyline in Netflix's Orange is the New Black. Basically, in between the vagina and the clitoris is a separate hole, the urethra. Its entire purpose is to conduct urine from the
That's
bladder
where I like to
well,
lick.
outside the body. The vagina, on the other hand, never passes any urine through it. Just fun sex things and babies.
Fun sex things.
Urinate whilst wearing a tampon. It's thought that the misunderstanding stems from
Sometimes
sex education in
vegetables.
schools, coupled with the assumption that since men pee from their sexual organ, women must too. That's probably thanks to how in America only 22 states actually require public schools to teach sex education.
That's
What's
insane!
more, 80% of US schools allow parents to exclude their children from such lessons. So it's
Wow.
not surprising that people are growing up with basic misunderstandings about their
This is
sexual organs.
ridiculous.
Number 4, the misconception. Women don't
Women
ejaculate.
essentially have a
It's
penis.
true.
Ejaculate.
They do
They do.
sometimes. The concept of female ejaculation
Only if the
squirting
guy's doing
is
it
generally
right.
the source of quite a lot of confusion. Women's health writer Rebecca Chalker described the phenomenon as one of the most hotly debated questions in modern sexology.
Women's
In fact,
squirting?
It's such a controversial topic that it was even banned from being shown in British porn films in 2014.
Wow.
So what's with all the hush about the female
Big
gush?
government.
Well, it's largely because it doesn't happen to every woman. One survey reported that only 35% of women have ever experienced the gushing of fluid during an orgasm. Scientists disagree on whether the liquid produced can be classed as ejaculate. For some women, there is no difference in the chemicals present in the fluid squirted at orgasm and their urine, meaning it's effectively just that. But for others, it contains small traces of prostatic-specific antigen, which is what you'd find in male ejaculate. I'm calling it. If that's what's in the men's, that totally counts. Number 3.
Sweet,
the
only
misconception.
some women
Women's
squirt.
periods sync up.
This
The
is
truth,
absolutely
there is
true.
no evidence to suggest that.
That's not
There are
true at
loads
all.
of period misconceptions talking about, so let's just debunk a few of those real quick. No, women can't hold in their periods, and no, having sex with a woman on her period doesn't magically eliminate the possibility of conceiving a child. If you
What?
seriously believed any of those ones, you really should invest in a decent biology textbook. However, the most common period
only when I have
circulating is the idea that women's periods synchronize when they spend a lot of time around one another. A 1999 study found that 80% of women believe this myth to be true. Even today, you're likely to see it referenced as a lazy storyline in sitcoms and films, but it's
Burn.
completely bogus. A 763-day study of Dogon women in West Africa, who were segregated into menstrual huts, found no synchronicity at all. Similarly, a study of 186 women in China
We
lived
actually
together heralded similar results.
tried to
So,
answer
yeah.
this question.
Number 2, the misconception. Breasts are symmetrical.
No,
The
they're
truth,
not.
No two boobs are alike.
What?
With periods, women's breasts are surprisingly misunderstood.
That's
things.
why you get
They're
But
surgery.
It's a bizarre idea that boobs are meant to be symmetrical, when in actual fact they very rarely are.
Mine
According to
are
Dr.
like
Daniel
this.
Maman, a prominent plastic surgeon, 100%
Sexy.
of women have asymmetric breasts. It's most commonly due to different volumes of breast tissue or variations in skin elasticity if a woman has put on or lost weight relatively quickly. Alternatively, it can even be the result of a baby breastfeeding on one side more than the other.
Because this is my
Side note,
punching
while we're on the
hand.
topic of breastfeeding, whoever thinks that breasts are always full of milk, stop that now. Of course they're not. The breasts of a pregnant
Okay.
woman will start
Did
to
a
produce
5-year-old
milk as early
write
as
this?
14 weeks into pregnancy.
I believe men
in order
wrote
to
a
make
whole
preparations
thing
for
about
the
women.
baby. That is the only way that this will happen naturally. However, it's also a myth that it's impossible for a mother to breastfeed her adopted child. Through a combination of hormone tablets and using a breast pump, doctors are able to artificially stimulate lactation in a woman so she can feed her non-biological child.
Oh, that's so
That's
hot.
nice.
Number 1, the misconception. A woman's vagina becomes loose if she has a lot of sex.
Absolutely
The truth,
true.
This simply does not happen. This misconception has been used to shame promiscuous women for decades, but is based on a complete misunderstanding of how the vagina works.
It doesn't work
At
that
the end
way.
of the day, the vagina is just a muscle, and therefore it
muscle.
expands and contracts just as any other muscle would. If
Hmm.
you think about it, the vagina stretches a ridiculous amount during childbirth, so a woman can push an actual human life through it. But then, within just 6 months of delivery, it will have returned to about the same tightness as it was before the birth.
Really?
Tightness.
Therefore, gentlemen, no matter how well endowed you think you are, your member is probably not going to be doing that much permanent damage. This idea of the loose vagina was further debunked by Dr. Rachel Vreeman of Indiana University,
How did she
who
debunk
argued that
it?
even when using a tenfold magnification, even a doctor can't accurately tell if a patient is a virgin or not. If a doctor can't tell,
Really?
it's pretty clear that the elasticity of a woman's vagina should not really be an issue. So that was 10 misconceptions about the female body. If you
Damn.
enjoyed this video, head over to our friends at Bloom, where they've mind mapped evolution of pubic hair through history. And as always, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications.
Wrong. All lies. Fake news.
Lies. All women's breasts are symmetrical. I
Every
protect
woman,
them.
after they give
all of
birth,
them.
loose vaginas,
Absolutely
swarming the streets.
disgusting. They swallowed up the whole world. The whole world. Let's take a bunch of women with loose vaginas, take them to Houston. It'll swallow up the water. We'll save the city. Boom. Solved.
Subscribe to these guys first
Yes.
off. There are some fascinating things in here. What I got from this video is that vaginas in a lot of ways are a lot like penises.
Yes.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Like of course I know that to some degree. I didn't realize just how much details and similarity they are. At the same time, vagina seemed way more advanced. It's like
They are.
our penis is noticeable when we're turned on. It gets bigger if you're lucky, and we pee out of that same thing.
Very simple.
Women are like, no, we have like divisions.
There's divisions.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's like categories.
Absolutely.
There's
Did you know
different
that like the
names.
clitoris actually goes inside and it's like a whole like tree of like nerves
Really?
and organ like within itself
Wow,
that you can't see. There's not just like the little ding thing that you touch on the outside. There's like
I have never been more
complexity.
sexually turned on in my life after knowing how the clitoris works.
Now you
Can
know.
you tell by my nose?
The nose.
That's such a fascinating. I'm gonna totally test that out. Like if I think someone's turned on, I'll just look at their nose, see if it expands. Now I'm gonna be very self-conscious about that. I feel like my nose like flares now. Then if I do that.
Hey, so the pubic hair thing, yeah.
Oh, good
Yeah,
point.
I had been reading about that because I was like debating like what do I or don't I? Do I or don't I? You know, get a Brazilian.
Yeah.
Turns out I actually read this that if you shave it too much, it becomes dry and scrotal.
Really? What
Yes,
about
it
laser
harms the
hair
skin.
removal?
I don't know, but
Okay.
but apparently it needs the hair there to keep the skin healthy, and without it there, it starts to like shrivel up and dry, and you have to actively like moisturize it.
Fascinating. Maybe I should be more accepting of pubic hair.
Yes.
I, as the handsome man I am, do not prefer pubic hair most of the time. If I love you, I can usually let it slide. If I don't love you, I would prefer if you shave it. But maybe if a woman has pubic hair, that's a healthy sign.
It is a healthy sign.
It's a healthy sign.
It's a sign she's read up on how to take care of her own parts and that she's taking proper care of them
That's
instead
cool.
of putting the health of her lady bits behind
Which is most important.
pleasing whatever the guy in the
Yeah.
situation is. Who might not even care about her. So you know what? She should do whatever she needs to do. Fuck that guy.
I gotta give an honest guy thought about all this. Well, the first 9 misconceptions, I was like, Yeah, I know those are misconceptions. But the first one was the only one about like a vagina getting loose. That was the only one where I was like, I wonder if that one's true. Like before when out of all them, that was the only one in my life where I've been like, does that actually happen?
Actually, yeah, it doesn't get loose, and you can't tell if your girlfriend has cheated on you based off of how her vagina feels.
Damn it!
Yeah, so if she were to go hook up with a guy with a bigger schlong than yours, and then
I
come
would
back
never
and hook
know.
up with you, nope, you wouldn't. I mean, unless it was like maybe if it was within like a half an hour, within this very short window, you might be able to tell.
Does the same apply with a
Past a few hours, you
butthole?
can't tell. I don't know. We have to watch a video about butthole misconceptions. I haven't researched the anus.
Well, I should stop doing these daily vagina inspections on my ladies then.
I mean, if she's
You'll
into
still
it.
come back to the channel, right?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk to my boyfriend.
I've had people not come back because of comments like that. Women have a ticking biological clock. I thought there was some scientific I mean, the 66-year-old woman had to have some like semi-artificial stuff done to her though, in order to conceive a child.
Yes,
though.
she did.
Mm-hmm.
So the older you are, possibly the more money you have to spend on IVF
Yeah.
and vitamins and all kinds of therapies. But also, I believe it is past 35. Now, I could be wrong. This could be
Okay.
old science. But past 35, you have a higher chance of having a child with developmental disabilities.
Really?
Yeah, and that's not
Okay.
just for women, actually. Men past the age of, I believe, 38 are more likely to have a child with mental health issues.
I got 3 more years. Worst case scenario, just bang a younger chick.
No, because your sperm still gets old.
I know, and I just like, so I could live a sex-free life until I'm 37, then I'll settle down. And hope within a week this woman wants to have my child.
Okay. All right, Greg, you do that.
I set realistic goals, Kat. The women who the pee holes.
Pee holes.
The pee holes in the women.
Mm-hmm.
What is that hole called?
Urethra.
That's what the urethra is?
Yes, and you have a urethra too.
It's just located somewhere else.
Yes.
Because you have bonus points in your body.
Bonus parts.
Yeah.
Y'all are losers. We have bonus parts.
We have bonus parts. Stupid men.
Fallopian tubes.
That's why women are really the dominant sex.
Yeah, we get you guys to do everything, and we're like, I'm helpless.
Yeah, so smart. I didn't fully keep up with the women squirting.
The women, okay, so 1/3 of women squirt, and 2/3 don't. And those 2/3 want the world to think that nobody squirts. And then the 1/3 that squirts is like, yeah, we do.
Yeah, we fucking squirt.
We
It feels
do.
fucking good.
That's basically the thing about squirting. Everyone's like, no, what? That's not real.
I think in my entire life, I can think of 2 women who I've never been sexually involved with, but have told me that they squirt.
Interesting.
And they said it's a sensational feeling.
Very interesting. There
Yeah.
you go.
What I want you to take away from that story is I've never been with a woman who squirts.
First off, I think women have to figure out how to make themselves
Yeah,
squirt.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
you can't make yourself and nobody can make you. And then the other thing, that squirting is not an orgasm. That function of squirting and actually having an orgasm are 2 different things. And so some people might squirt and not have an orgasm.
Oh.
Yeah, and you can orgasm and never squirt. So if you are a guy who's out there and has made ladies squirt, guess what? You still maybe didn't make them come.
Ah. Well, I don't have to worry about that fact.
Oh, and we can't hold in our periods.
I can't believe there were people who were like, we got to get people together and try to find out if their periods actually. What are they?
You know what?
Why are you taking the time to find this out?
It's called publish or perish.
Yeah.
I have to get tenure, so I'm gonna research ridiculous things.
Like, who the fuck cares?
No one. Did anyone really think we could hold in our
Yeah.
periods? If I had to go in a menstruation hut every time I got my period, I'm pretty sure I would hold in my period.
I have also been the dumb mind that has thought that if you're on your period, that's like a birth control. But apparently it doesn't always work.
Nope.
That's why I only sleep with a girl when she's on her period. With the lights off. Jokes, people.
Okay.
Just jokes. All right.
They have to be funny to be jokes, Greg.
You can't be true facts about your life in order. Please still be willing to come back on the channel again.
We'll see. All right, I'm Kat Alvarado.
Well, guys, this has been the Daily Sex Show with Kat Alvarado and Greg Alba. We've changed the channel from talking about films to sex topics. And according to the new YouTube guidelines, talking about sex is perfectly okay.
Okay.
That's what ad revenue looks for, is who's talking about sex. I've learned about women. There's
Yeah.
more to you than meets the eye.
Yep, there is. We have brains.
Yeah, brains and more.
Lots of parts.
And lots of parts.
Complicated.
It really is. And that might be the explanation. Men are simple. They got one thing to do it all, and it's all on display. Like, this is who I am. Women, complicated mess down there.
Mess. All right, guys.
Kat Alvarado Comedy.
The Kat Alvarado on Twitter and Instagram. Follow me.
Patreon.com/TheRealRejects. Become a Patreon eject today. Goodbye.